Good morning, everybody. Welcome into the channel. Thank you guys so much for joining us on today's Monday live stream. We are going to get started here in just a second, but happy tax day to all of you joining us. I know that's a great day, especially as a reseller. It's one you definitely look forward to. Definitely not, but we are happy you guys are with us today. Thank you so much for joining. We've got a lot of stuff to talk about today, a lot of orders to get shipped out, so we aren't going to delay. We're going to get jumping into it here pretty quick. But we'll give a second here to get everybody on and watching, those that want to join us. So it is Monday again. Feels like these days sneak up on us. I feel like Monday comes around really fast, but they say time flies when you're having fun, and I guess that could be the reason for it. I don't know. We'll see what happens. But anyway, thank you guys for joining us. Today we are going to be talking about a lot of things. I've got a few different topics as far as just some day-to-day stuff that we've been dealing with and kind of chatting with you all on that. But the other thing we do want to talk about is going to be the big title for the stream, and that is full-time reselling and whether or not you should be doing it or not. I'm going to put a disclaimer up right here, very beginning of the video. I am no expert in this. I am giving my opinions and kind of some stuff I've learned over my time of reselling, as well as some stuff that I've learned from other people. So this is just going to be strictly my opinions and my kind of background in reselling and what it took for me to go full-time. So that's what we're going to be talking about today. We'll see if my streaming software gets caught up here. All right, I think we're back up and going. So yeah, that's what we're going to be talking about today. If there's any issues with sound or video, if you guys can let me know in the comment box, I would greatly appreciate it. Let me double check one thing, make sure we're good to go here. All right, so I think we're back. For some reason we had a little bit of a hiccup there, but hopefully we should be good to go. All right, guys, thank you guys for the likes already. Appreciate that. Always good to help start the stream off with a few likes. Like I said, guys, let me know in the comment box or in the chat box if there's any issues or if we're good to go. I appreciate the feedback on that as well. We're going to start with some orders because we have a lot of orders to get shipped out today, and I don't want to fall behind on that. But we are going to get started with those first, and then we'll get into some of our topics as we go along. First up, we have a bin store purchase. I honestly don't even remember where this came from. I bought this a long time ago. All loud and clear. Awesome. Thank you. Appreciate it. Yeah, so this is a exfoliating scrub to exist, I believe is how you pronounce that. I picked this up at a bin store. It ended up in my death pile stuff from a long time ago, so I have no idea where I bought it, no idea what it even cost. Obviously, if it come from a bin store, it wouldn't have been more than $8, but I don't think I would have even spent $8 on it. It's probably $1 or $2 a day item. Sold that for $14.99 on eBay. Sales this weekend were slower than when they have been, sort of. My sales numbers are crazy inflated due to a big buy that we had, and we talked about in our shipping and chilling stream, which we'll talk about here in just a second also. But we actually had a big sale. I shouldn't say a big sale. It was an item from the closed clearance event that took off, and we've got one left to ship, so we'll be shipping that today. But it's one of those things that's kind of inflated our numbers. So without that, this weekend, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, we had about $1,800 in sales, which is low. Obviously, normally we're doing, closer to 20 or at least 2,000 to 2,500. But wasn't the case this week without that sale. However, with our big sale, we actually pushed it over $4,500 in total sales, including that one particular SKU that went crazy. So weekend sales were great, but like I said, if we discount not happened to be selling that hot item for all weekend, it was a little bit slower of a weekend. But we're not going to complain. Like I said, we did very well, so I'm not going to sit here and act like we didn't. But just a little bit slower. Might be starting to see some of that weekend. I know some schools were on, I think that was last week, or maybe that was the week before. Some schools were on spring break and stuff like that, but overall, still not a bad weekend. Like I said, we did do really well with that one particular SKU that we sold out of. But yeah, not a bad weekend. We'll take it when we can get it. Let's see here. Sorry, making sure I get these going out, get started. I have to get in the rhythm of things, talking and doing the shipping, and it's not as easy as it would think, or at least not as easy as I thought it was going to be. It's taken me a solid minute to get used to it, but we'll get into the rip of it here and get started. How was your all's week? Did you all have a good sales week? I know I talked to a couple people and they actually said it was down for them as well, so could be a theme. We'll just have to see how it goes. Like I said, it is that summertime sadness, madness, whatever you want to call it, where everybody's out and about doing things and not maybe necessarily shopping online. So that's how it goes, it seems. But yeah, not a bad weekend. Like I said, we didn't do too bad in sales. Didn't do a whole lot over the weekend, just kind of chilled out and spending with my wife. That was pretty cool to get to do. We don't get to do that all the time. We've always got some sort of plans going on, it seems like. So it was nice to just relax and enjoy the weekend. Last week was busy. We did our shipping and chilling stream, which if you guys missed that, you can go rewatch it. It's just something that we're going to kind of do on and off. Not going to be a regular thing, or I guess I shouldn't say it's not going to be a regular thing, but it's not going to be something we're going to plan out necessarily. I had a lot of interesting stuff going out that week. I missed my pickup, so I had some extra time to get my orders out that morning. So we decided to go ahead and just throw up a live stream. And it was really cool. Got a lot of engagement from everybody. Everybody was talking and just kind of chatting. We didn't really have a topic. We were just talking about whatever was going on at the time. So that was pretty cool. Like I said, if you guys like that, let me know in the comment box below or on that channel or on that video. That would be awesome. But you can check it out. It's up on the channel. Like I said, just going to be calling those shipping and chilling. Just kind of just a relaxing hangout more than a necessarily big topic that we kind of get into on these Monday streams. And like I said, we're not necessarily going to plan that. That'll just be whenever we get a chance or we have something cool going on. We'll do that over there. That hat that we just didn't show you, but just kind of boxed up real quick, is the LA Dodgers 47 brand. This was a bread and butter call out. You hear me talk about bread and butter all the time. We'll talk about it a little bit later and kind of give an example of what it is, but that was a call out over there that we picked up, and we paid, I think, $10 or $11 for those and selling them for 25 bucks. So not a huge flip, but nice bread and butter inventory. I sell one or two a week, it seems like, and I think I've got like one or two left. So hopefully the other colors take off pretty quick. But that's what we got going on. Let's see what's on the list today besides the big topic. We'll get into that here in just a few minutes. Let's see. Oh yeah, big news in the Amazon. Well, not big news, I guess I shouldn't say, but big news for me in the Amazon game. We actually just recently, I think it was on Wednesday or Thursday. I think maybe it was Tuesday. I don't know. Sometime this last week, Amazon went through and gated a bunch of us in the Adidas brand. Which is a big hit to me because we actually do a lot of Adidas sales over there. So all of our inventory, luckily I didn't have any FBA, but if you had Adidas inventory in FBA, they put your listings inactive until you either ungate again or you have to pull your inventory back. I don't have FBA in right now, but all my active listings for Adidas are not visible to buyers now until we get that fixed. Ungating, like I said, I don't cover this much because there's a lot of different ways to do it. Some ways work, some ways don't. Some ways work for other people. It's kind of a mix-up. But I ungated with Kohl's when I did get the Adidas ungate. That was actually, I think, my first or second ungate on Amazon. So with them going through and gating everybody, we've got to go through and try to get ungated again. And from what I've been hearing, the Kohl's invoices are not working anymore. Some people have had luck with it, but a lot of people aren't. So to get ungated, and that's going to be a little bit more difficult this time. Hopefully it's not too hard. I don't have any invoices right now with Adidas, so I've got to figure out something to be able to get that back up. So that was kind of a hurt. Like I said, that's going to hurt our Amazon. It's not going to hurt anything else necessarily, but our Amazon numbers, it's definitely going to hurt because, like I said, I sell a lot of Adidas over there. And to get that in that gate. Now, this isn't something new. This happens a lot with different brands, and mostly they go through a certain time of year and start doing that. But it's just one of those things. It's trying to, like Arbitrage Garage, welcome in, man. Appreciate you joining us today. Like he said, Amazon's dropping the hammer, and they are, and they're gonna do it. I mean, this isn't something new. Like I said, a lot of people are like, "Oh, this is just part of the whole kicking out small sellers." This is something that's always happened. There's always been brands that go through and regate, or Amazon. I'm not sure if it's the brand or Amazon that does it, but they go through and regate and make you undo. That way they can make sure they've got current active suppliers. It is a way to get rid of small sellers. Obviously, they want to get those people that have those active contracts or whatever with Adidas, or whatever brand it is. But like I said, it's part of the game, unfortunately, and we just gotta roll with it. That's why Amazon is not for the faint of heart. Definitely not for the faint of heart. And you just gotta move with it, adapt if you can't get that end gate. But like I said, we'll figure it out. It's just going to take a little bit of time. And I haven't had a whole lot of time this week to get into it. We've been trying to get back caught up on our listings, which has been a little slow. Had some stuff going on, not necessarily reselling, but not anything major. Just things keep stacking up, these clearance events and stuff like that keep taking up my time. And I need to get caught back up on my listings. I have enough to get me through the week or two, but I want to get that draft bank back up to where it should be. So that's going to be our goal for this week. After this video, the rest of this week is just going to be listing, trying to get all the rest of my inventory listed again and get caught up, so we can move on to bigger and better things to handle with our time. Next sale up, we have one of these all green New Era, $59.50. Sold it for $44.99, paid $13. Going out to Hector in Vegas. So we'll get that one done in just a second. But yeah, so that was kind of news this week over on the Amazon front. And like I said, it did hurt me. I want to say at least a third of my listings are Adidas. So we have to go. It's funny thing though too with that is it's the Adidas main brand. Normally when you get ungated, you can ungate in Adidas Originals, Adidas, just Adidas straight up, and there's another third one. I can't remember what the third one is. But for some reason, my Adidas Originals wasn't regated, even though they hit the main one. So I don't know how that works. Maybe they do have to go through and hit each one. Watch, I'll check my listings this morning, and they probably hit the Originals today. But so I do have a few listings still up over there, but the majority of them are down. So just another thing we got to get fixed. Like I said, I'm not going to necessarily give you guys anything as far as how to do that because I don't know what's working now, what isn't. But once I figure out what does work for me, I'll share it with you guys, and we'll move on and hopefully help you all if you have that gating issue. But yeah, that was kind of the big news as far as what's been going on. Everything else has been pretty slow. No luck on Mercari. I've gotten more likes on Mercari, but absolutely no sales. And it is driving me nuts. I don't know. I mean, I haven't comped. Maybe I'm just high on all my prices, but I have a lot of different listings over there. I figured at least one or two would sell out of the, I think I have 300 or 400 listings now up over there that are cross-listed, and they're not moving. So I don't know. Not big on the Mercari game. It's been kind of a side thing. I worked on that for a day or two and not seeing many results, so I'm going to hold off and wait until I have just extra time to work with it. I don't know. I don't know what's going on over there. Some people are having really good luck. I don't know if Recon's in here right now, but he was having crazy luck with it last week. So it could just be me, but that doesn't seem to be working. Next up, we got these track cleats. We actually picked these up in our most recent Burlington sourcing, which was about 2 weeks ago. They just went up not that long ago, maybe a couple of days, and they sold only $39.99, no spikes included, and it's a size 12, no tools, no nothing, just the shoes themselves. And comps were way down there. They were like, I think one for 35 and a couple for 37, 38. So I listed mine at 39. I would have probably held on to them, but even the sold comps were not anywhere close to being anything more than 40. But they did sell, and they honestly sold pretty quick. So I'm happy with that. Going out to Kathy. What's up, Scotty? Do you cross-list the items you have on Amazon to other platforms? Yes and no. So eBay and Amazon are my only other platforms up until a couple weeks ago when I decided to try the Mercari thing again. Did Mercari a long time ago, but not as far as cross-listing. I do sell some items on Amazon and eBay, but most of those items I have a bunch of, or I have a quantity of. I don't like listing stuff because I forget to take them down, and I've actually gone through and pulled a bunch of stuff off of Amazon that I didn't, that I had cross-listed on both because I kept forgetting to take it down. So now basically I have an Amazon inventory and an eBay inventory, and the only thing that gets cross-listed is the stuff that is I have multiples of. So actually, if you see these totes right here, it's kind of random to have, inventory totes. These are actually my Amazon inventory totes. These are just items that are on Amazon. So I keep that separate now just because it's just, for me, selling 10 to 20 items a day, there's always going to be something that you forget you have listed on the other platform. And I've had too many cancellations. That's why I'm not a top rated seller on eBay right now. And I haven't been for like the past 2 months, is because I had too many cancellations from stuff I already sold on Amazon beforehand. So Amazon's actually a little more forgiving with cancellations. So like if I sold something on there and I sold it on eBay before, it's not as big of a deal. But eBay tanks you really bad for cancellations. They do not like you canceling orders. So you kind of have to be real careful with that. So yeah, I don't put anything on Amazon that I already have on eBay. It just doesn't work for me. It doesn't seem to work for me. Let's put it that way. I keep them pretty separate, like I said, with the exception of something I've just got a lot of inventory on. So hopefully that answers your question. Yeah, cross listing. I think we were actually just talking about this with Crystal, and she was talking about it as well, about starting to cross list. Their sales have been really slow, and starting to cross list some of their clothing stuff over to Poshmark. So it's something to look into, and I think it is a smart thing. But the issue, like I said, is just making sure you take the items down from one or the other when they sell. You have to be really disciplined in that, because it can come back and bite you pretty good. Makes sense. Yeah, like I said, I used to. I had a bunch of stuff that I would list on both, especially if it was higher dollar and I didn't mind selling it on Amazon. I would list it on both Amazon and eBay, and just whichever one sold fastest. But now that I've got like I'm over at 2,500 listings, I think, right now, and I just can't keep up with it. It's just, you would think it would be easy to go through every day, but it's one more thing you have to go through every day and double check. And I forget some days to make sure, I get stuff shipped, let alone go through all of that. So I just can't do it anymore. It's just too hard. But yeah, so that's where we are with that. Oh yeah, we had negative feedback, which we've talked about in the past. Posh isn't as picky on canceled. That's what I've heard. Yeah, that like Poshmark. I know Mercari isn't either. You can cancel orders on Mercari pretty easy, and it doesn't hurt you. There's a lot of marketplaces that aren't, but eBay, I know for sure. Like I said, I have 2 cancellations. Like I sell, you guys see what I sell over a weekend. I'm doing, I would say averaging 10 to 15 items a day. So, we're doing almost 70 to 100 orders a week. And I have 2 cancellations in the past month, I think, or past 60 days, something like that. It's not a rolling. I don't know how they set it up. And they've hit me for it, and I can't get my top rated seller now because of it. It's crazy. Like, I don't know why they're so picky on it. It's really annoying. It's a good problem to have. It is a good problem to have. As far as the too many listings or the cancellations. No, I agree. Like, it's not that's why you give and take. Like, if you have that many listings, obviously you're going to sell on both platforms, and you have, that many orders coming in, it's great. You sacrifice the ability to cross list, on individual items. But I'm doing a lot more bulk sales now. Like I said, I don't hardly buy any individual items anymore. I shouldn't say that. The percentage is way up. I'd say about 50-50 now. If I'm going to buy something, I'm going to make sure I can buy more than one. So it does make it easier on that aspect. And I can just, if I buy 4 of them, I'll put 2 on Amazon, 2 on eBay, and do that. But it's just when you have one-off items, it's impossible. Too many listings. Oh yeah. No, it's a great problem to have. It's one of those things, you start to question whether you should have that many listings active if you're not selling, so to speak. I don't want that to sound bad, but that is what it is. Dang it, I forgot to grab the other one. I have these. We actually sold 2 of these, and I forgot to grab the second one. These Buffalo Bills hats, 59.50s. We paid 13, and we sold them for $40 a piece. And we sold 2 to the same buyer, but I forgot to grab the second one. So I'll have to do that one in a minute. But yeah, it is a great problem to have. I mean, I'm not complaining about it whatsoever as far as that aspect goes. It just does make it hard to cross list. And when you're trying to capitalize on sales, like I said, you have all your listings up. You try to make sure your prices are competitive and stuff like that, but you're still gonna have issues, so to speak, of trying to make sure you get, you know, if you have too many listings, then you have to cross those, all that stuff. It's just part of the job. It's just part of the job. Green says, I have Vindu and it failed at delisting on Mercari, and I've had 4 or so cancellations on Mercari. My profile now shows me as an unreliable seller. Really? So I'm using Vindu as well. I'm having the opposite problem. It won't delist from eBay. And I think the reason for that is because my listings are set up as, I forget what they put it. When somebody buys my listing, if I'm out of stock on that item, it doesn't end the listing. My listing stays active because I do get restocks on certain things, and I just like to keep track of my items that way. So like my listings right now say like 4,700 listings, but 200 or 300 of those are zero quantity listings that I need to take down. But I like to do that myself because then I can check and see if I actually have more of those items. So I'll go through and be like, yeah, I did sell that. I'm out of that. Oh, I actually have one of these sitting in the room over there. I messed up, whether somebody canceled an order or whatever. I do that. So my listings go to 0 and out of stock instead of just ending. And I think that's what's messing up Vindu. I need to contact them. They're great. Their customer service is fantastic, guys. So if you have questions, get in contact with them. They're slow to respond, but I'm sure they've gotten a crazy amount of increase just because of the whole Mercari thing. But definitely, I'm going to definitely contact them and see if maybe that's what's causing my eBay listings to not pull. My Mercari ones work fine. Like everything that sells on eBay pulls down from Mercari, so that's cool. But I am having an issue with it going to eBay. Like I said, I'm not selling anything on Mercari either, so it's not really hurting me. But that sucks that it's not pulling on Mercari, especially since it has you listed as an unreliable seller. That's not cool. I would definitely contact Vindu about it because, like I said, they've been very helpful. They've been trying to figure out what's going on, and I just haven't had a chance to get back with them on it. But it's definitely, like I said, they do a good job over there trying to figure it out, and it is in beta. It's not completely out yet, so you're going to run into some issues, but hopefully it doesn't affect your account too much. I'm on the fence with Vindu. I am too, honestly, because of the cost and stuff like that. And like I said, I'm not seeing any sales in Mercari. That's not Vindu's problem, but I'm not seeing any sales over there. So it's going to be hard to pay for another month. I'm going to give it another month and try to actually work on it this next month and get it straightened out and see and give it a good shot. But it's just not worth it at this point if I can't get any more sales. Next up, we got this New Era San Antonio Spurs hat. This is a cool two-tone. Again, $13 for these. We sold this one for $45, and it is going. I guess I should have left the sticker on it. This is going to Todd in Shelbyville, Indiana. Todd is a return buyer. He purchased, I think, if not one, maybe 2 other hats from me in the past. So it's cool to get repeat buyers. That's something when you sell a lot of the same items, especially hats, and you get good deals on them and have a wide variety. You get those repeat buyers. I actually got a lot of hat repeat buyers, which is cool because even if somebody else has this hat, that could mean I'm getting more for it because the buyer appreciates how I shipping hats in boxes. It's not required and not everybody cares about it, but when you're selling collector's item, obviously a structured hat or something like that, people really care. And I guess there's a big problem with it because I get so many emails or so many messages on eBay about if I ship my hats in boxes. I've actually put it in my listing now to hopefully help out with that, but a lot of people dissatisfied with how they get their hats shipped when they buy them. So hopefully we can keep those return buyers coming in. And go for that. Let's see. We should get into the main topic, huh, guys? I feel like we're dragging this out. I want to thank everybody for joining us, as always, on the live. And if you're rewatching this, I appreciate you guys that rewatch this as well. We get a lot of viewers that actually watch after the live, so that's really cool. Let's see what. I was talking about negative feedback. I got a little sidetracked. I've been getting a few negative feedbacks. Like I said, just literally stuff I can't control on most of them. There's been 1 or 2 that are my fault. In the way I handled something or whatever, not necessarily the way I handled it, but how I had something listed, somebody didn't agree with that or whatever. So I get that. But I had a buyer that left a negative feedback. They didn't receive their item, never contacted me or anything. I think we talked about it. And the buyer actually messaged me 2 to 3 days ago and said, hey, I actually got the item. Can I repay you for it? Which I thought was really cool. Obviously, they were upset, when they left the feedback or whatever, but they actually offered to repay for the item. It was a $15 item, didn't even matter at that point. But I did message back, said, appreciate you being honest, wanting to repay for the item. There's not really a way for us to set that up, but if you could revise your feedback, that would be fantastic. That way, you know, it helps us out in the end. And the buyer, I don't know if I had already requested a revision or not, but they weren't able to do the revision. So they actually just responded. So I still have the negative feedback on the account, but they actually responded stating that the you know, seller made it, corrected the issue and all that, and actually put that underneath the feedback. So hopefully if people read the feedback, they'll see that the buyer actually responded as well. And that was really cool, and I appreciate that. Like I said, I've had one revision that the actual buyer went in and revised the list, the feedback, but still had the bad photo on it. And then this one that couldn't revise the actual comment, but actually went through and put a reply to the comment, so that, or to the feedback. So that was really cool, and I do appreciate that from them. So you can fix the issues and you can get those things resolved, but sometimes you can't. But thankfully we've been able to do that. So it still does show I'm still sitting at like a 99% feedback, which sucks, but it'll go up eventually. I've got a couple that should fall off here soon, and we're just going to do our best to make sure we don't end up with any more of them. We've got this Ohio State Buckeyes hat that we picked up from my supplier, paid like $3 for it, and it sold for $24.99. Kind of a unique hat. I don't think I've ever seen one with just the Buckeye on it, the Buckeye logo, yeah, I guess team logo, whatever you want to call it. But it has the Ohio State logo on the back, and it is a fitted actually, but it says size small, and I did put that in there, so hopefully it fits the buyer. But $24.99 for those. I have a ton of Ohio State hats that I got from my supplier recently for just a few bucks on the hat. They are, a lot of them are not branded, so they're, I guess they shouldn't say they're not branded. They're like the official whatever brand of Ohio State, so it's their own branding, I guess you could say. They're not 47, they're not New Era, they're nothing like that. But we got a bunch of those for cheap, and we're just going to try to move those. There's a ton of Ohio State hats on eBay, so they aren't going for a crazy amount, but for $3 we can definitely sell them and do pretty good. And that's one of two that sold this weekend. They did finally start selling. That's going out to Catherine in Ohio. Never heard back from my buyer on the shoes that they claimed I didn't send them, or I sent them the wrong ones. They're trying to scam basically, but they never contacted me back after I told them that we didn't sell that item and we had video proof of the item that we did send them. So that was pretty cool. Get one up on the scammers. That's always a good day of reselling. What else? We got crazy amount of inventory coming in. We got all those the Kohl's online inventory in, and we've actually moved a bunch of it. We've got a few that actually sold today, so that's moving quick, which is always good. What else do we have? Oh, all the boxes. If you follow me over on Instagram, quick Instagram plug, check it out in the link description, or in the description box below in the link. Follow us over there. I try to post quite a bit, as much as I can over there, to help out with just giving you guys some more content throughout the week. But we shared over there all that inventory and all those boxes. We got all of our shoe boxes in from Staples that we got that crazy deal on. I don't know if it's still going, but you can check it out in the description. Got these for 40% off and ordered up. I think I ordered like 300 shoe boxes. Great quality, guys. They're not quite as heavy quality as the ones I had before, but there's still plenty for shoes, and they're not cheap by any sense. So got those for like 68 cents a box, and you can still do it. The link's in the description. If you set up your auto renewal, so they send you more boxes at the end of the year or whatever. If you set that up, you get 40% off your first order, and it works on all their boxes. So you can load up with hat boxes, shoe boxes, whatever boxes you need, whatever sizes. Get 40% off your first order. It drops a lot of these boxes to under $1 for even your giant ones. So definitely worth checking out while they're running that sale. And like I said, you set it up to renew, and then at the end of, once you get your items in, you can cancel that subscription, just like all the renewals on Amazon and stuff like that. But it's a great deal. And we loaded up, and we actually ended up with, like I said, a whole stack. FedEx guy was hating me, I'm sure. But we got all those in, so that was really cool. Had to find a place to put them. I had to put a bunch in my storage unit. But what's nice about it, they are wrapped and actually sealed, whereas they're not like saran wrapped. It's actually like a shrink wrap type stuff. Works really good, so it should keep them nice and clean. Next sale, we got these Chubbies swim. I don't know. These aren't actually swim trunks. Yeah, they are. Okay, they're swim trunks with the liners in them. So they have like these crazy. Well, these ones aren't that bad, but some of them are crazy graphic liners underneath of them. Sold these for $39.99, and we paid $10 at the Academy clearance event. Got to take this tag off, even though the tag says $59.97. I could leave it, but we'll peel it off just because it doesn't look the greatest. But we sold those. Going out to Haiti. Well, not Haiti, the place, but that's the name, in North Carolina. All right, should we get into our big topic, guys? I'm curious if anybody, of those of you that are in here, if you wouldn't mind, let me know if you are a full-time or a part-time reseller. I'm going to disclaim again just because I don't want people to get the misconception that I'm a professional. Okay, I'm going to give you my history on how I got started into this full-time for those of you that don't know about it, and then kind of talk about some of the stuff that just my opinions and stuff, and I would love to get your guys' input. So feel free, let me know in the chat or in the comment box below if you're watching this after. Let us know if you're a full-time, part-time reseller, and then if you guys have any tips or any opinions, even if you disagree with what I'm telling you, please let me know in the comments. I would love to hear what you guys have to say, especially, you know, if you're looking to be full-time, if you're just doing this as a part-time gig, whatever your background is, definitely want to hear from you, because I'm going to be giving my opinions, but I would love to hear what everybody else has to say and kind of what I look for. And what I kind of tell people when they ask. This question gets asked a lot in Bread and Butter, and we try to discuss it. Everybody kind of has their own opinions of it. But, you know, is it something you should be looking into? Is it something you should be working towards? You know, kind of all the questions when it comes to full-time reselling. Because I'll be honest with you guys, it is not as easy as it may look. I'm not just saying that. I'm not trying to scare anybody. Like, it truly is something that is a hustle, and you have to be willing to work for it. So, you know, I don't want to give anybody ideas that this is just the part that you actually have to do. There's so much more work that goes into it that we'll hopefully be able to cover in the future. But, you know, hey, it's worth it for those of us that do it, and we're going to talk about the good and the bad, obviously, of both sides. Scotty says he's full-time, should be, let's see, full-time should be part-time. I just started, I think he says part-time. Sorry, I can't, for some reason, the heart of the comment is right over some of those comments, so I can't see exactly, but just started in December. Awesome, Scotty. So I'm going to give you guys my background in reselling and try to not bore you, to kind of explain where I'm coming from with it, and hopefully that'll help give you some, you know, some feedback on, you know, what I've gone through to get here, as well. And obviously this is going to vary for everybody, but it's definitely going to be something that a lot of people have questions about. So before we do that, we got this Armed Forces hat. We actually picked these up for $12 in a bulk buy a long time ago, actually a year and a half ago, going to Mississippi, I believe, and paid $49.99 for it. We paid $13, they paid $49.99. So a good sale there. All right, so as far as reselling goes, guys, I've been doing reselling almost my entire life. I actually started it wasn't grade school. It had been junior high, I believe, is when I got started in reselling. And when I say I got started, guys, I literally was flipping Nerf guns, buying brand new Nerf guns. I had a YouTube channel at the time. Good luck finding that one. It still is up, actually, but we had a YouTube channel. I actually did really well with that YouTube channel, and did Nerf reviews on Nerf guns and stuff like that. Granted, I was like 13, 14, maybe 15 at the time when I was doing these videos, so not something I'm looking forward to people finding, but they are out there. So I was doing that and started flipping Nerf guns at that time, literally buying them off the shelf. I would go into Toys R Us, buy all of them they had, the brand new ones that had just come out, and then sell those on eBay. And I was making really good money doing that, selling them for double, triple, sometimes even, you know, 4 times what I was paying for them, and started doing that. That was the beginning of my reselling. I've done reselling for a long time. I'm not going to go into all the details, but from that point on, as a side hustle through high school, everything else, just whatever I could find that I could flip, I was selling on there. I wouldn't say it was even a part-time gig. It was just something that I did on the side, and it was fun, so I enjoyed it. And like I said, did pretty well with it, and it kind of got me used to the whole idea of reselling. I started retail out of high school, started a retail job with Sears, and literally just did that. I was part-time, seasonal at first, moved my way up, worked there for about 6 years into management, clear up into store management position. And during that time, I still did reselling on the side. I did some pop figures for a while. Actually had a connection to buy them wholesale from Funko at the time. Not even a possibility anymore, hardly, but at that time you could still do it. So I was doing that, flipping, doing pre-orders, stuff like that. Worked for Dennis over at BuyRockandRoll.rocks. Worked for him for 2 years. Learned a lot from him. He'd been reselling. I guess I shouldn't say reselling. He actually had he was buying inventory from manufacturers and stuff like that, and then selling them in his store online and on eBay. So I learned a lot from him. I'm telling you guys all this because I don't want you guys to get the idea that I just started this one day and literally went full time in 6 months. And we'll get to that part in just a second. But this whole aspect of having this background is what allowed me to be able to go full time so quickly. So during my retail career, like I said, I would do it on and off, just different things as a side hustle, nothing crazy. Never even really considered taking it full time at that point because I was enjoying my career and felt like I was doing what I needed to and making my way up the corporate ladder with my company. Obviously, Sears closed. We switched over to Hobby Lobby, got hired on there, and worked there for a few years before quitting there and going full-time reselling. But during all that, like I said, I have a lot of years of just knowledge of eBay and how eBay works, how Amazon works. We did Amazon liquidation for a few years while I was still at Sears in between some jobs there. So we actually bought full truckloads and processed and sold on eBay. So I would say all combined together, probably part-time. I would say I was part-time on eBay at least, at least 6 years total before I got into what I call my full-time portion here. When I was working at Hobby Lobby, I started doing the bin store purchases or shopping at bin stores, and that's how I got started into possibly taking this into a full-time job, is the fact that I was doing so well with that. I did that for 4 or 5 months before I quit my job and went into full-time. And I've been doing full-time now, let's see, will be 2 years in August, I think. So a year and a half, almost pushing 2 years here full-time. So that's a little bit of background. And like I said, the reason I'm telling you guys this is because going full-time was not something that I just took lighthearted. I had a lot of different reasons to do it because of personal reasons and the situation I was in. I also was at the time looking at starting my own bin store, doing all of that. We were looking for a location. We actually had everything kind of set up and ready to go on that, and we just couldn't find a location that was going to work for us as far as rent and all of that. So that is what kind of led me into, I was already kind of looking at starting that business. And so going full time, obviously I'd have to go, I have to quit my main job, my full-time job, to go into running your own business. And when that kind of fell through, my reselling was just skyrocketing. I mean, I was already making well over what I was making at my full-time job. The first year of half part-time, half full-time, I actually was making almost double what I was there. Now, I shouldn't say I was making that. Obviously, I invested a lot of that in inventory, so that wasn't what I was pocketing. But my sales to my hours put in and everything was a lot better as far as the amount of money I was making for that. So that is what, at the time, whenever, like I said, the position as far as starting my own store didn't open up, the reselling gig was just going so crazy that I felt like I could take it and give it a shot at going full time with it. And that's what I did. So a lot of people get the misconception that I started part-time, doing it heavily to build it into a business. Yes, it only took me a few months to do that, but that was because I already had the experience selling and I already knew the platforms. I'm not learning the platforms. I'm not learning how to do it. I already had that knowledge behind me. It was the fact of actually just committing all the time and giving it a shot at full-time. Crystal says, I've been full-time for 7 years. Husband joined me 3 years ago. Yeah. So, that's awesome, actually, because I wanted to, Crystal, if you guys see that in the comments, especially if you're watching live or in the replay, you'll see the replay comments. Crystal is a cousin of mine. We actually, like I said, I was doing it on and off for a while. She got into it full-time, like she said, 7 years ago. But she does up until recently, has been bin stores as far as Goodwill bins, thrifting, used clothing and stuff like that. We've actually got an idea. I've mentioned this to Crystal. I'm going to put it out there and hopefully she feels like she'll have to do it now. No. I would like to have Crystal join me one day on one of these lives. That way we can discuss her business and kind of show her side of it. Because like I said, she sells a completely different category than what we do or what I do here. and it would be cool to get her feedback and her kind of story and how she does her business. We've talked about it, so I'm putting it out there, Crystal. We'll have to do it. Hopefully we can do that here in the next couple of episodes or so. That'd be awesome to get her side of the story, because there's so many other categories than just what we do, and I'm forgetting what I'm doing here. There's so many more other categories of reselling than just the stuff that I show here that you can take advantage of, and there's a lot of you that watch that probably do other stuff as well. These are those Converse Chuck Taylors. I kind of showed them, I kind of didn't. I don't know if you guys seen them there. These are going to Corin. We picked these up at the most recent Kohl's clearance event, and we paid, I don't remember what we paid for these. Now I think about it, I think we paid like $20, $22, something like that, and they sold for $55. I don't have it right up. I believe it was $22 for these, and we sold it for $55, like I said. So nice little increase there. Haha, no pressure. Thanks a lot. No, you'll do good. No, but yeah, so there's a lot of learning you have to do before you want to go full-time reselling. And I want to preface this by stating that it is not for everybody. Reselling as a side hustle is probably one of the most profitable side hustles you can have, because you obviously got your income coming in from your main job or whatever you're doing. That allows you to literally take your side job as far as your reselling or whatever, and take all of your money that you're making off this, invest it either back in the business or take it yourself, however you want to do it. You don't have that stress of having to make sure that you're growing your business without hurting yourself as far as your income. So it's kind of a rough, I don't know how to put it. It's a tough balance, and it's one thing that I honestly did not think about. Whenever I was doing this part-time, I was thinking about, man, if I could put all the hours that I put into my other job into this, I can make this 5-10 times better than what it is. It doesn't work out quite that way, but you get that in your mind, especially as a part-time job or as a part-time side hustle or whatever you're using it for. It's just a lot safer. When you go full-time, you have to consider there's so many things that are good, and there's so many things that you have to remember and take into consideration. One of the biggest things with that, a lot of people don't get the misconception of, is when you are working at a part-time job or a full-time job, whatever, working for somebody, you're getting a paycheck week to week or month to month. You have all your taxes taken out, you have all your health care, all of that stuff taken out. So when you're doing your reselling and you see you're making $50,000 in a year, your full-time job, you're making $50 a year, and you're making, 50 at a part-time, you automatically think, oh man, well, why would I not go to this? You have to consider that you have a lot of extra pay that you're getting paid, but your boss or your company that you're working for is taking out for you and is spending for you in a lot of ways. They're paying your taxes already. They're paying for your healthcare, all that stuff. You're not going to have that when you go to a full-time reselling job. It's just like being self-employed with any job. You gotta consider all of that. So if you've got a family, if you've got anything, any responsibilities and whatnot, you have to remember that you have so many more expenses and stuff that are going to come out. I don't tell you this to discourage anybody from doing this, okay? Because there's a lot of great things to being a full-time reseller, and we're going to talk about those. But I feel like a lot of people get the misconception that it's just all you have to do is make the same amount of money, then you can switch and just rotate back into it, because you have all those other expenses. You're going to have to buy healthcare on top of that. If especially if you have a family, it's going to be a lot more. All of this stuff to consider before just making that jump. Now, full-time is also going to take up more time than you think it will. I will be honest with you, I put in more hours now working this job than I ever did at my full-time job, and I was working 60 hours a week, 50 to 60 hours a week. I work just as many, if not more now. The difference with that is I love what I do, and I think that's the key that a lot of people don't consider. They look at it as a job, they look at it as it being fun or whatever, but if you don't enjoy almost every aspect of reselling, whether that's the sourcing, which is everybody's favorite, obviously spending money, but you've got the sourcing, you've got the shipping portion of it, you have the storage portion of it, you have the business maintenance, what I call business maintenance. That's making sure your taxes are done, making sure your bookkeeping is done, making sure that you have everything in line, dealing with the customers on a day-to-day basis that message you and ask questions and all that. You have to love all of that. Maybe not, you may not love it every day, but you have to enjoy that and have to have a heart for that, because if you don't, you will not, it won't work for you. I'm sorry. It's one of those things. You have to have a passion for it, because you're going to put in more of your time and your personal time into this business than anything else. That brewer's hat that we just put in here, guys, we sold for $30. We paid $8 at Marshall's or Ross. I believe Ross, actually. So $8 into 30 on the brewers. That was just a 940 adjustable. So before you ever consider going full time, before you ever even put that thought into your head, you have to ask yourself if this is going to be a job you really love. It's one thing to go to a job that you don't like and get a paycheck. You have that responsibility. You have to show up. You have to do all that. When you are the one running it and you have the option to lay in bed, or you have the option to go out and hang out with friends, or you have the option to go on vacation every other week, you have to have the willpower and the ability to tell yourself not to do that, and tell yourself you have to put your time into your business, because you will not make it work. It's just not that way. That doesn't matter if it's reselling. It doesn't matter if it is, running a lawn care business. It doesn't matter what it is. If you are going to run your own business, you have to have that dedication and that ability to do that, because there are great benefits to it. There's great benefits as far as, one of the things I like is that if I need to take a Monday off and go do something, I can do that. If I want to go on vacation, I can set my vacation whatever day I want to. I don't have to worry about somebody else having it already pulled or whatever. If you need extra time for personal or family reasons, whatever the case is, you can make that happen as a full-time reseller. You don't have that restriction of, of making sure the boss is okay with it, or making sure you have enough vacation, whatever. You could do that. But at the same time, you have to make sure that your business is going to withstand you being on vacation or not being there to ship orders. Can you put your store in vacation mode and afford to? All of that stuff, you have to be willing to, at the end of the day, tell yourself no if you can't do it, or if it's not a possibility. So there's good and bad to it, but if you don't have the heart for it and you don't have that drive and that personal, just love the job and love what you do, it will not work. It might, you're going to get burnout. You're going to do that. And I'm not saying you can't get burnout if you enjoy it, because there's been days I just don't feel like doing anything. But you have to have that drive to keep going with it. If you don't, then you're not going to be able to maintain what you have to do to make ends meet. And at the end of the day, it's just like every other business. This is just like every other business in the fact that you can end up losing it. You can end up losing money, not making money, and then you've got to go out and restart. And that is always a rough thing to do. I don't want to scare people with that, but it just is the fact of the matter. So make sure, before you ever even consider about going full time, make sure it's something that you really do enjoy, you really love. It's got to be a passion for you, because at the end of the day, you are going to be either the good thing that keeps the business growing and increasing, or you're going to be the reason the business fails. It's all on you. You can't blame your boss. You can't blame your employees. You are all of it, to say the least. I ended up with an extra label, guys, and I got to figure out where it goes. So give me 1 second here while we figure that out. Oh, that's the label for the hats that we have to pick. All right, so we are back on track here. Now, reselling full-time, like I said, guys, you obviously want to make sure you're comfortable with your platforms before you ever consider it. You want to make sure that you're comfortable with dealing with day-to-day operations, all of that. But one of the biggest things I feel like people misunderstand is, at the end of the day, the money that you make, if you keep track of all your records and you get all of your, your cost of goods out, and your sales and your shipping supplies, all that, if you get a number at the end of the year when you're doing your part-time selling, you have to consider how much that you're going to have to reinvest into inventory and reinvest into your business versus just what you take home. That is one of the things that you really have to have settled and really down packed before you make the decision to go full time. Me personally, I'll be honest with you, I was not there, and I still struggle with it. I still struggle with the fact of I like to spend money on inventory, and I forget that I may need to have a savings. I may need to have something like this just in case unexpected expenses come up. Just like if you get sick and you have to take time off of work, if that happens to you, obviously you could still put your store on vacation mode, whatever it is, but you're going to have that can still happen to you, and you're still going to have a period where you're going to lose that money that you would have been selling if you were able to do it. So you have to consider that, and it's something I'm working on this year. Has been my goal, especially with trying to get this move done at the end of the year. I want to make sure that my cost of goods going out is not triple what my cost of goods coming in is. And so what I've had to do this year to make myself aware of that is I'm taking a a calculated cost of goods every single month. I go through and count up all my cost of goods for the items that I sold that month compared to how much I spent on inventory, and make sure that fits into the category that I want. I want to still invest in my business because I need it to grow and I want it to continue to grow. So I don't take a 50-50, or I don't know what the percentage is, but if I sell $5,000, I want to make sure I spent at least $5,000 to $7,000 in inventory that same month. That's my goal. Not to go over that because I tend to do that a lot, but I want to make sure that my percentage of how much more cost of goods. So basically, if I sell this item here, which is the next item that we sold, $13 that we paid for it. This is not the Oakland A's anymore. Well, they won't be. But the Oakland Athletics hat here, we paid $13 for this. If I sold 100 of these in a month, that's $1,300 of cost of goods that I got back. So I already spent it, but I got that money back. I want to reinvest that in more inventory, obviously, and I want to invest a little bit more to keep the business growing. You have to have that set up to where you can track that, because otherwise you're going to end up you're spending way too much or not spending enough. And if you're not spending enough, then you're going to see your inventory numbers drop and you won't be able to get as many sales. So you have to understand and have to have the strength and the ability to keep track of what's going on with your business in more ways than one. It's not as simple as just buying and selling to go full time. As a side hustle, guys, I'm not, obviously, if you should keep track of what you're selling and what your cost of goods are and what your actual profit is that you're making, even if you're doing this part time. But as a part time gig, you're not relying on that for your livelihood and your income. If you lost money one month, it's money that you already had set, in your part-time job. It's not your full-time or whatever your main source of income is. When you decide to go with a full-time job as far as reselling, and that's your main source of income, you have to make sure you understand if you're making money or not. I feel like I'm just talking in circles, guys, so I do apologize if it's not making much sense, but I am doing my best here to give kind of an insight to what I've learned and what I feel like is very important when discussing this topic. This is going out to Margarita in Hollister, California. And I don't have the labels for these, so we're going to do the same thing we did last time. All right. So definitely something that you want to have before you ever consider going full-time. You want to make sure you understand those numbers. Again, if you're doing this part-time, get to the spot where you have a way of tracking all of this, a way to count for where you can go back at least 6 months, at the very minimum 6 months, and have an exact number written out. You can see how much money you actually made. Accounting for all costs, guys. I'm talking shipping supplies, I'm talking gas, I'm talking tax. Don't forget about the tax when you're calculating cost of goods. If you bought something, for instance, this item at the store for $10 and your tax rate is 8%, your sales tax, if you didn't get a deduction on that, then you need to put this in your cost of goods as $10.80. Don't forget that. I've seen so many people say my numbers don't match up, and it's because they aren't keeping track of actual full-on numbers. You have to have that written out to where you can see how much you're spending on all of those. You see how much you're paying for subscription fees, whether that's your eBay store, whether that's an inventory tracking app, whether that's a cross lister like Vendu, or anything like that. You want to make sure you have all of those fees, all of that broken down to where you can physically see exactly how much money you made last year versus, or the last 6 months or whatever it is, instead of just guessing. Because at the end of the day, it can look great. It can look like you have all this money in the bank and it not be the case. Not that you have it in the bank, but your sales numbers are 100,000 for the year, but you aren't necessarily making 100,000 for sure. I'm trying to make sure I don't get too off topic here, guys. I apologize if I am. But it's one of those things. Now, obviously, guys, when doing your own business, you're going to have, how should I put this? You're going to have to consider what all it's going to affect in your personal life. It This is not the most stress-free job, obviously, and it's something that you may not consider until you're into it. And I don't know if it is something you can consider beforehand, but you have to remember, um, not only is it going to put stress as far as you making sure you're making enough sales when you go through a low sales point, that you're not affecting your health and um, your mental state and all of that. It can be a big play on it. It is for me. I worry when I go through like a sales weekend like this. $1,400 or $1,800 versus my 2,500. I'm sitting here thinking, okay, I lost $600 this week. You can't look at it like that, but you think of that, and that plays an effect on your mental state and so on. And it's something that, if you're not in the spot where you can do that, um, take the extra time to make sure you're solid in yourself and confidence in yourself. You have to have confidence in yourself in this business, and you have to have a confidence in making sure that you understand that even if you make a mistake, you can come back from it and you can correct that mistake or whatever it is without beating on yourself and tearing yourself down. It was a huge thing for me a few months ago before I started doing some of these videos, where I really felt like I was just struggling. I wasn't making ends meet because I wasn't managing my money right and stuff like that. And you're going to go through those stages, but you have to have the ability in yourself and the strength in yourself to be able to kind of set yourself down and write out a plan and get that whole idea and get an idea of how you're going to accomplish and tackle the task. It is not it's not an easy job, guys. That's all there is to it. It's a fun job, and if you enjoy it, then that's what makes it. I wouldn't change this for the world. I went into my old store yesterday, or not yesterday, it was a Saturday. Went into my old store, walked in there, started talking to everybody, was talking to my wife as we're moving around the store, and I don't miss it one bit. I don't miss my old job one bit. I truly enjoy what I do, but that doesn't mean there aren't days that I have a really hard time getting up and doing it just like I did my other job, and you have to be able to move past that and get through it and have the strength in yourself to do that. Arbitrage Garage said, "This is my last week as a full-time reseller, heading back to the grind into the week." Man, I hate to hear that, but I understand. Arbitrage Garage has been doing, you've been doing it for a little over a year now, I believe, full-time FBA on Amazon. And now with some of the new things that are going into place and stuff like that, it is really hard for a lot of these FBA sellers to make it happen. I hate to see that, but at the end of the day, you've gotta make the decision that's best for you and your family. I know you've got a large family, man, and I know you got to make what that decision is for you. And like I said, there's nothing wrong with that. I don't fault anybody for giving this a try. And if it doesn't work, it doesn't work. 2 years, wow, yeah. I knew you've been going at it for a minute. Um, I know it. Like I said, I don't want people to get the idea that, oh, if you don't make this work, you fail. Like, that's not the case. And I don't fault anybody if it's not for them. You got to make those adjustments. And that's why I feel like so many people, especially a lot of people that sell courses and stuff like that, they push so hard. Oh, you can make thousands of dollars in this. You can make $100,000 in a year and stuff like that. I'm not gonna say you can't, but it is not everybody's ability to do that. Not that someone can't do it if they don't want to, but it's not everybody's cup of tea. It's not everybody's job to have their own business. That's just not the case. Um, I don't want that to scare anybody, but at the same time, if you have to be disciplined and have a business mindset before you can just jump into it. And hey, if it doesn't work out, always have that backup plan, always have that ability to go back. Don't burn bridges, whatever. That's one of the things when I started, my district manager told me, hey, if you need to, let me know. If things don't work out, you're always welcome back here. If we've got a spot for you, we'll let you know. I didn't burn that bridge. I gave them a month's notice, over a month's notice, actually. All this stuff. I didn't burn those bridges because I wasn't sure. I wasn't positive this was going to be where I was going to end up for the rest of my career. I wasn't, I wanted to give it a shot and I was confident that I could do it. But at the same time, you always want to make sure you have something to fall back on if it doesn't. And there's nothing wrong with that. There is absolutely nothing wrong with saying, hey, this isn't working. Maybe I need to realign. Maybe I need to take a part-time job and get this figured out, whatever it is. You have to have the strength in yourself to do that without just running your business into the ground or losing a bunch of money on it because you're too stubborn to make those choices. So I feel you there. I feel you there, Arbitrage. Let's see. when sales are this slow, it's hard to keep your head straight. It is, and that's what I'm talking about, Crystal. I've seen it from you, and like I said, I've gone through the same thing. When you're not making sales, it's a mental thing for you. It's something that you have to really sit there and think about and focus on. Okay, hey, is this me or is this the market? Is this whatever? And you have to adapt to that. You have to make whatever changes you can come up with to adapt. Whether that's changing what you're sourcing, whether that's changing how you're listing, whether that's your pricing strategy, um, whether you need to focus more on a certain area of your business versus another. One of the things for me is not spending as much on supplies. I tend to put a lot of money into supplies and cool gadgets and stuff for the business. And I looked at it the other day and I had like $1,000 in supplies over the last month or two, and I was like, that's ridiculous. So you just have to be able to sit down and figure out what your next step is without letting it affect you too much. It's going to affect you, but at the end of the day, you've got to work through it and figure out how you can adapt to it. Let me get caught up on these comments. You guys are awesome, sharing your struggles and stuff like that. I appreciate it. Let's see. Arbitrage says, I shut down my Amazon doing only eBay and Poshmark now. Still going to be doing it as a side hustle. Yeah, there you go. And that's what I feel like a lot of people get the misconception that if you don't make it full time, that you're just out. That's not the case. It's a perfect side hustle. I would recommend this to anybody for a side hustle. If you got a job, do this on the side. I try to get everybody, my family all know, I have tried to get all of them into this because it is so, I don't want to say it's easy. It's not necessarily just easy, but for a side hustle, when you can just do it when you want to and stuff like that, there is no, in my opinion, no better way to make money on the side and have complete freedom of your time and everything else. It truly is an awesome side business. And, I don't want people to think that you lose that when you go full time, but in some ways you do. It does become more of a stress because you do have to make sure that you're making ends meet off of what you're selling. Wasn't really looking to go back to work, but was offered a very lucrative position making stupid money that made this choice easier. Exactly. Hey, there's, you're not gonna, this isn't a business you can just get rich quick on. And so if you get an opportunity to make more, like I said, especially with supporting your family and stuff like that, I don't fault you one bit. I definitely consider it. Considering my husband going back to work, but we hate to give this up. Like I said, Crystal, it's one of those things. If it's maybe look at it as a part-time thing. Maybe, until things get straightened up or you get started. I know you guys have started doing the storage auctions and stuff like that. Personally, I mean, that's, my thing is, hey, if you have to go back full time, or you have to go back to a job for a little while, but don't give up on it. Maybe it's a setback for a couple months till you can get that restructured or whatever from what you were selling before. That's just my opinion. These are all just my opinions, guys. I am not a know-it-all. I don't know it all. I like to think I do sometimes, but I don't know it all. But these are just my opinions on what, hopefully to help out some of those if you are struggling. Because I will be honest, guys, I do know there's several resellers that this isn't going, just perfect for. It's just like every other job. You're gonna go through that. The economy is not exactly in a solid position right now either. So depending on what you're selling, it may be even rougher. You may be doing really well. It just depends on kind of your business strategy, what you're being able to source and what you're selling. Let's see, was not an easy choice for me for sure. I like the freedom of working for myself, but it's getting tough, and I'm happy to have something that will be more consistent. It's going to be much easier side hustle now since I already have existing inventory and built the platform up. Looking to use the side hustle to build some cash for some more business ventures. There you go. Yep. And at the end of the day, you gotta you've got to take whatever you have and make it work for you. Obviously, you've got inventory built up and stuff like that. That's huge. That means you can maintain it a lot easier. Building this business is a lot of work. Once you get it up to a certain amount of listings, you still want to source and you still want to keep it there, but you can kind of ride a little bit easier once you do get that inventory in, versus when you first start out. First starting out, guys, is not the easiest thing. You have to learn so much about what you're sourcing and what type of inventory you're selling, all that stuff. There's a lot of learning curve to it, and that's why I tell people, unless you just have some previous experience, like like I have, as far as been doing it for several years on the side and stuff like that. I like to give, I don't want to give a number out. I don't want people to get the wrong idea. And I feel like this is kind of taking a turn to talking about the bad side of reselling. That's not my intention with this video. But I want to be upfront and be honest with everybody. And like I said, these comments are helping out a lot and kind of explaining and showing what the differences are with reselling and what you have to consider before you just jump into this. Because I do feel like I see so many people that want to jump into it really fast. I think your goal, before ever considering your goal to be going full time as a reseller, I think your goal should be able to be build your business into a set number or a set idea. You want to build that business. That's what you should take as a part-time reseller. If you want to look at this as a full-time job, not necessarily set a year, 2-year goal, whatever it is, but set a goal as to where you want your business to be, how much money you want to be making, taking home, and then how much you would need to make that happen, and then probably double that. Because like I said, when I started doing this, I seen how much I was making. I was making the exact same amount on my reselling business as what I was on my income, or my income from my full-time job. When I was looking at that side by side, it was easy for me to just say, hey, let's go to this. I can do my own thing and still make the same amount of money. But you have to consider that all that time you were making that money, you were growing your business. So all that money was going back into your business. You were buying more inventory. You were buying more, better inventory, whatever it was. You were buying more of it. You're putting all that investment back into it so you can make more money. You have to spend money to make money. And when you look at it that way, you realize that yes, you might have made $40,000, $50,000, $60,000 last year, but in some ways, you had to put all that back into the business to get it to where it is now. So kind of just a general rule, and I don't want people to take this as a law, so to speak. I don't want people to think this is just the answer to it. But I would say you almost need to make 2 to 3 times more than what you want your salary. And I'm talking your net profit, okay? That's after all fees, after all your supplies, your taxes, all that stuff. You need to be making at least 2 times, if not 3 times, what you want to net and take home on a monthly basis. That may sound crazy, but if you are starting your business at that point, you want to be able to invest as much of your income back into the business to grow it. That way you can maintain, because you are going to have these ups and downs. You are going to have those times of sales where you're going to be making great money during fourth quarter and you're going to be thinking you're on top of the world, and then you're going to hit summer, or you're going to hit your slow period for whatever you're selling, and then you're not going to be making as much. You have to consider all of that. And I feel like having that 2 to 3 times a profit, I guess you could say, number helps out with that a lot. These are those Nike Zoom Metcons. I don't know if I showed them real well on the camera. I'm getting so sidetracked in my topics here. But we sold those for $89.99, and I believe we paid $22 for those, going out to Charlie. I don't have my labels, guys, this morning for these, so we're just doing the old write it on the box and ship it out. Give me 1 second here. I want to make sure I'm not missing my pickup. Let's see, what was our next topic? Well, I was still going on the reselling, obviously. But yeah, so I like to say 2 to 3 times what you want is your gross, because then what you can do is that gives you a safety net. You can have some put away into your savings or whatever that you need to be. You can also have enough to keep sourcing your inventory and keep that inventory coming in, because you do have to do that. It's not something you can just forget about. And once you get the inventory in, you're done. You have to keep that going. Otherwise, you're going to end up, not being able to maintain your business and maintain that income like you should be. Sorry, guys, my internet's lagging here because of what I opened up here. Let's try that out. All right. The other thing is to make sure that you have a plan for your business, not just go into it as a kind of a free range kind of, I don't know the right term. You want to have a plan and a goal on where you want your business to get to. My long-term goal is to have 1 to 2 employees. Obviously, you want to set a money amount, but you want to have a goal of where you want your business to be in growth and what you're going to be satisfied with. This is something that, let's see, who was I watching? I was just watching a YouTuber. talk about what they wanted to get out of their business. Oh, no, I'm sorry. I was talking to a buddy of mine who runs a pest control company. And when I was talking to him, I asked him, how did you guys get started in this? What was your kind of goals and what you wanted this to be? Obviously, starting out, from the ground up, and they did. They started out their pest control business from the ground up, and now it's a huge company. They're doing really well. And my friend told me, he's like, I want to be making a set amount of money. We both talked to my business partner and I talked about it, and we wanted to be set in making a certain amount per month, and we'd be happy with that. And it was a certain figure that they had in mind. And he said that was our goal. He said, so what we did is we just hustled for that. That's what we did. Our goal was to get our business up to where we'd be making that. And then obviously want to keep growing it. But that was our end goal, was to be set amount of money. I recommend that. Obviously, you can't necessarily, reselling is a little harder to do that with because you don't have a set amount you're going to make. But you need to have an idea of where you want your business to be in 6 months, a year, 3 years, whatever it is. This is another hat, guys, $13 into 60. This is a really cool one. I believe these are called Letterman. They've got like all the patches along the back and the side and stuff. Really cool. Tampa Bay, 7.5, going out to Jalen Chong. This is also another repeat buyer. So super happy to get those repeat buyers. But when reselling, that's what I like to get tell people is you need to have a goal in what you want it to be, whether that's an income amount or that's where you want your business to be. For me personally, I want to have my business, this is kind of my long-term goal. I want to have the ability to hire at least 1 or 2 employees to handle the shipping and listing portion of it. The sourcing, I want to maintain myself because I feel like that's where you make your money, depending on what you're buying and so on. I want to have that business built up. And the reason for that is not so that I have an easy job. That's not my goal. My goal is to have it built up to that so that I can venture off into other businesses, just like Arbitrage Garage is talking about here. I want to be able to take my time, spend my time in my sourcing, whatever I need to for this business, but then venture out, whether that's into real estate rentals, storage units, whatever it is. I've got lots of ideas that I like to do. But that is my goal for this business, is to get it up to the point where I can still be a part of it, but kind of have it self-sufficient on its own, in the fact that I can have somebody come in and do, the shipping and the listing portion. That's my long-term goal. That's where I'd like to see myself in, hopefully shorter term, but 5 years at the minimum, have my business up to that point. I feel like that for me would allow me then to venture out and use some of the capital that I'm earning from this into other business ventures. You always want to diversify your money. You may not be able to at first, but you always want to have, opportunity for that. For me personally, I've got some other business ventures that I'm looking into doing with some friends and stuff like that, that I can, take and get another source of income from. That way I can diversify if for some reason reselling does go south really bad, which I don't ever see happening. But you want to have those goals and those things to strive for, because it'll keep you going and it'll keep you working. Setting a dollar amount is great. Me personally, I have a figure in mind that I'd like to make a year. Not that I'm just going to get rich off of it, but I would like to have a certain figure that I could have, coming in, and that way I can feel comfortable in whatever I need to, whatever I'm looking to purchase in the future or whatever. You want to have those goals, and you should have those goals, I feel like, before you ever jump into this full time. Because if you don't know where you're going, you can't steer your ship that way. And that's exactly how it is. You cannot work towards something if you don't know what it is. You can always work toward making more money, but that doesn't mean it's going to lead you exactly where you are. We got an interesting little issue here, getting off on a side topic. We have this backpack that we sold. I can't believe this actually sold. Picked this up for $3 at a Marshall's yellow tag event, clearance event. And we sold it for $20. I don't know why I bought this. I think I bought it because it was $3, and I comped it. There was a couple of sold comps for like 25 or something, and then come to find out it was the wrong item. When I got home, it wasn't the exact item that I comped. There were no comps for this one except for a couple of different colors in a similar style, and they were like $15. So I listed this at 20 and figured if it sells, it sells. My problem is I ran out of shipping envelopes, the big ones. So hopefully this fits in one of these. this weekend. I have not run out of supplies in forever, but I did. I ran out of my polys, my giant polys. This one looks like it might work actually, but I have some giant ones and I ran out, and I can't believe I did that. I have I go through about once a month and make sure I have all the supplies I need, and I somehow did not catch that I was low on those. So luckily this one fits, but I've been wondering how many items I'm going to have to come up with some jerry-rigged packaging because I don't have those polys. I rely on them a lot, as you guys have seen in these videos. But we did sell that backpack, Head brand. Don't recommend picking it up. It took forever to sell, but we did sell it for 20 bucks. So 3 into 20 is not bad. Going out to, let's see, who's that going out to? I don't know how to pronounce the name, so I'm not even going to try. It's in Scottsdale, Arizona, though. Scottsdale. All right. Oops, my marker's not working. What do you guys think? What are some goals that you guys have set for your business, or if there's anything that you want to share as far as what has helped you kind of get started in this? Also, I'd love to hear from you guys on what your, I guess, the thing that made you go full time. What was the thing that kind of gave you the confidence and gave you the ability to just say, yes, let's go for this and make the switch? Like I said, for me, it was not easy because I actually really enjoyed my full-time job. I enjoyed who I was working for, which hadn't been the case for a very long time. I enjoyed all the aspects of my job. So it was really, really hard to go and flip the switch over to full-time on this, even though I was making the most money. What made the difference for me and what kind of pushed me over the edge, so to speak, is the fact that at the time with my wife being in the military and stuff like that, we were going to have to make some adjustments. We're going to have to move. We're going to have to do, whatever the case may be, whether that was deployment, stuff like that. There was going to be a lot of variation in that. And I felt like it was going to be very hard to keep that going with my full-time job in retail. Obviously, you can move around in retail, but as a store manager, they don't like you moving to different stores every couple of years. They don't like, obviously they put you in a store to make sure that store does good, and then you're going to just constantly move on them isn't the greatest. So for me, it was a little bit harder. I sold these, and now that I'm looking at them, I got some scuff marks. Let's see if we can get these cleaned up real quick. I think they're just scuff marks from being in the box, but oops, hopefully they come off real easy. Oh yeah, they come right off. Okay, so we're just gonna have to clean these up, guys, real quick. I think they're just like banged around in this box. It's a used, not a used box, but one that the store whatever just kind of put back, had laying around evidently because it didn't have the right tag or anything on it. But yeah, for me, it was just having that flexibility. So whenever the opportunity came up, I knew I was going to have to make some adjustments, and I didn't think the company was going to be willing to make those adjustments with me. Not that they wouldn't have liked to, but it just wasn't possible for them, obviously. You can't expect a company to just change everything for you. So for me, that's what made the decision for me, is that I could do this and have the freedom to be able to work on my own time, work from wherever. Basically, I could take this job and do it wherever I needed to, whether that was from a different state or a different country for whatever reasons. Country's a little bit harder, but that was kind of what gave me the boost that I needed to just say, okay, we're going to have to give this a shot. And that's what caused me to quit my job and take this on full time. Like I said, it was not an easy thing, but everybody has a different opinion on that. Some people just hate their jobs enough to where they get to the point where they need to. But I don't feel like that should ever be the reason for it. Like I said, you need to have a plan or something as to why you go and switch over to full time. I talk about the bad all the time, but I do want to talk and give a little bit of time and effort into the good of this job, because there are a lot of good things about it. And there are a lot of reasons to go full time. Obviously, one of the biggest for me personally is the freedom to take the time that I need. We kind of talked about that already. But to just have that ability to take and do it whatever I need to, then I can adjust my schedule for it and make it work. The other thing is being my own boss, and I don't mean that in a bad way as far as me telling me what to do. I'm not necessarily that type of person, but for me to be able to make the decisions for my business and then take the consequences for that. It's one of the things working retail and working just in corporate in general. You don't always get the freedom to make the decision that you feel is necessary, especially in your store, whatever you're working for. So for me personally, that was one of the things that I struggle with some of my previous retail jobs is, I could see where this store needed to change directions, but I wasn't allowed to make that decision. And so being responsible for your own decision making and stuff like that is something that I enjoy. Sometimes it bugs me, sometimes it's scary, but I still enjoy it. And that was one of the things too, is to be able to have control over my future, not based off of what somebody else thought of me, but actually what effort and stuff I put into my business. That's a huge benefit, and that was one of the huge benefits for me personally that I felt was definitely worthwhile in making the switch to taking it full time. But if you guys have any opinions on that, I'd love to hear them. Like I said, I'm always open to hear what you all think and what some of the your guys' goals or what some of your guys' um, I don't know how to put it, but what you guys think of changing and taking, whether taking this business full time or anything else, running your own business for that matter is a whole other job, and what you think your pros and cons are of it. I hope that helped. I don't honestly know. I feel like I rambled a lot. I kind of do that with some of these lives, but hopefully I touched on some bases there. I'm trying to think if there's anything else I wanted to discuss about full time, going full time. Um, but I think I covered everything I wanted to. Y'all let me know. Did I forget something? Thank you for those of you that have joined us for this live. We appreciate your support as we ramble on and ship some orders. All right, guys. So we've got these Converse here. We picked these up at a Kohl's clearance event as well. I believe we paid $20 for them. They sold for $55. They're just a plain white Converse, and I'm not even sure why they were on clearance because it seemed like it was just that pair of shoes. I didn't see any others in that, and there were. Like I said, it's just their standard Madison Ox Low. So, but it was on clearance and we made some money on it, so we will take it. Let's see. Green says mid 40s and I've never been happier. I've been in a corporate job for 20 years and never felt fulfilled. I'm now my own boss, and yes, I struggle financially. The juice was worth the squeeze. Exactly. I couldn't agree with you more right there. That's a perfect thing. It's so fulfilling to run your own business, and obviously, when it's struggling, then it sucks. But when you have a good sales week and you see where you come and what you do, I feel like I lose touch sometimes, and I feel like I lose how happy it has made me feel. And you talking about being in the job for 20 years. Me, every time I drive by Hobby Lobby, not that, again, I loved my job there. I don't want anybody to think that I quit that job because I didn't like it. I really did love my job there. But every time I drive by there, I don't feel like I'm missing anything. I think, wow, I'm really glad I don't have to get up. Saturdays, if we worked a Saturday at Hobby Lobby, we worked all day from open to close. So that was 8 to 9:30 most of the time. 8 to 9:30, somewhere in there. I drove by it on Saturday and I'm like, wow, I don't miss going in there every day. Like, there's so many, even on a bad day. And I'll tell you that right now. If you're ever having a terrible day doing your full-time job of reselling, drive by your old job or go in. If you can go in, talk to the people there, whatever, hang out, whatever you need to do. Go to your old job and then think about it. And think about, do I want to go back to this? If you do want to go back to that, then that may be your answer. And I'm not saying that in a bad way, but like if the stress is that part where it is, then that is. But I guarantee 95% of the time you're going to go drive past your old job and you're going to remember the reasons you have to be thankful for your current job of doing this full time. And that's where I'm at. I wouldn't trade it for any other job right now. Literally, I love what I do every single day. My weeks fly by, and it's not because it's just easy, not because of anything like that, but I enjoy what I do. And that is, I think, the difference maker. You're completely right, Green. Like that, it's so fulfilling to do it, and especially when you're doing great, it feels even better. But even when you have those down days, to know that you are the one that's in control of your career and of your job and of your future and your income and all that, to have that control over it. Yeah, when it's not going great, it's rough, but at the end of the day, I think 95% of us that have been in this any time at all would tell you we wouldn't want to do any other job. And that's the benefit of it. And being able to do that for yourself is huge. Build your self-confidence too. You feel like you can do anything almost some days, and then other days you just remember you're not the smartest person you think you are sometimes. Green, same when I see ads or drive by the big companies I worked for. I'm so glad I don't work 50 plus hours doing something I dread. Exactly. There are so many great benefits to it. I just don't want to give people the wrong idea and the wrong impression that this is just a walk in the park. It is not a walk in the park. It is going to be, you're going to put in just as much effort. You're going to have to learn. You're going to have to be willing to learn. But at the end of the day, like Green said, I wouldn't trade this for any other job in the world right now, unless you're just going to hand me $1 million and me not have to do anything. But no, seriously, it truly is what keeps me going. And like I said, I enjoy it no matter what. Even on the slow days, I just have to sit there and think about what I'm going to do to get it fixed. Here we have a bread and butter call out that we got. These, I believe we actually picked these up. I think I can tell because they don't carry them anymore. But we picked these up either. No, I'm not going to tell you guys. Sorry. If Pete's watching, he's going to love that. No, we did pick this up at an online retailer, but we actually do get some really good deals from there, so I don't want to give that one away. If you're in bread and butter, you know where these came from. If you're not and you want to join, there's a link down below, but shoot me a message before you do that. Make sure that I answer any questions that you might have about bread and butter. It's an online Discord group. We share leads, help topics. If you got questions about any kind of selling or anything like that, you can ask over there. And we've got a lot of experienced resellers that help out. But we also, one of our biggest things, like I said, is we do share leads on online deals and in-store deals. And this is one of those. So these are those 7-Eleven Crocs that we picked up. I think, I can't remember what we paid for these. It looks like $23, $24 is what we paid for them. And we sold these for $65. So $65 for those. They are discontinued. That's why they're selling now. You can't go out and buy them, but they're pretty cool. They got all the gibbets, I guess is what these are called on them. Pretty interesting Crocs. Going out to Mario. Not sure where Mario is, but we're going to get those shipped out today. So definitely worth it. Like I said, I don't regret it one bit. I love my job, and that's why I share it with you guys. That's why I do these videos, because not only do I love it, but I want to be able to help those of you out that are doing it, to be able to feel free to ask questions, or like I said, I don't know everything, but I do feel like I have some experience in it, and with doing these videos, it allows us to kind of connect and be able to share those experiences like Green did here. That's awesome to be able to hear from other sellers. You know, you hate to see people struggling through different areas, but at the end of the day, you know, that's what we're here for, is to be able to help and so on. Next up, we've got this Yankees hat. We did not pay $15 for this. We paid less than that. I think I actually paid $8 or $9 for this from my current supplier on these. It is a size 8, so it's a big hat, but we did sell it for $54.99, which was probably retail on these. I don't have a retail sticker on it, but really unique hat. You don't see very many purple Yankees hats. That's going out to Kiera. I think that's how I pronounce that name. Going out to her. Sold a lot of hats today, or this weekend. And then we also sold some clothing, which has been a long time coming. I feel like I haven't sold any clothing in a while, and I need to get rid of it. I hate listing clothing. We've actually got, if you're in bread and butter, you're going to be seeing, hopefully today or tomorrow, I'll be posting up some bulk sale stuff over there. I got a whole big supply of some sporting apparel from my supply source. And wow, 8s don't fit in these boxes very well. We got a whole supply, or a whole bunch of this sporting apparel, and I don't want to list it. It's t-shirts, mostly t-shirts and stuff like that, but I don't feel like listing clothing, so we're gonna offer it up in bulk sale or wholesale over in bread and butter. If you're interested in that, let me know, but if you're already over there, obviously you'll see that hopefully here in the next day or two. All right, next up we have this Browning rimfire that we actually got from the $5 hat sale, also called out in bread and butter. Let's see, I saw they're going to be live in 30 message, but think I missed the "you are now live" message. Oh, it's all good, Pete. Thanks for joining. Appreciate it. Pete is actually, I'm not going to tell him what you do, but he's not actually a reseller, but he enjoys listening to this during his day. He's a good friend of mine. Good buddy of mine. We play video games all the time. Pete, have you watched any more of the Fallout series? Because I'm going to talk about it. So spoilers. No, I'm just kidding. I'm not going to spoil it for you. Now, guys, I appreciate everybody that joins in on these videos. I do want to get into some other topics besides just reselling. That's kind of why I did the shipping and chilling video, just to hang out and talk. I don't want to be all serious all the time. I actually enjoy talking about other things. But if you're into video games and you haven't watched the Fallout series, you guys have to go check that out. I'm doing some promoting from Amazon here because I want them to come out with the next season. I keep doing this. I keep not paying attention. But yeah, if you haven't watched it, and like I said, if you played the Fallout games, you have to watch it. It is really, really good. Reseller enthusiast. Yes, that's gonna be your new title. No, I appreciate it. This is going out to Cole. That $5 Browning hat there we got for $6 and sold it for $30 to Cole. Going out to Mr. Cole. All right, next up, we sold some of the gray running shoes. I think I'm almost sold out of the black ones, and so the grays are hopefully going to start selling because we picked up just as many of these as we did the black pair. These are those standard running Nike, what are they called? The Revolutions? Yeah, Revolution 6s. Sold these for $60 and paid, let's see, what's the tag on this one say? $22. Paid $22 for these, sold for $60. I was going to tie these laces just to make it look a little bit better, but they're kind of all jacked up here. But yeah, hoping these gray ones start selling. This is the first gray pair that I've sold, and I'm almost sold out of the black ones, so I'm hoping these will take off here pretty soon. Because we got a lot of them. I think we ended up with like 20 pair, so definitely need to get rid of some of these and get the space out. Shoes are flying though, guys. I hate shoes because they take up so much space, but at the end of the day, they sell really well, so they do free up space pretty quick. I can't complain. So I enjoy buying them. I just don't like the fact that they literally take up pretty much my entire garage is just shoes. But they are fun to buy and pretty easy to ship when you can just throw them in a box. All right, weird. Oh yeah. So last week, actually, after the video, after the chillin' video on Thursday, we shipped out those cleats. We had some high dollar stuff going out. We shipped out those cleats that we paid like $40 for. They sold for $150 in like 3 hours. Literally after the video finished, I'm sitting there getting all the boxes ready to go take them out to the front steps, and I just got a sneaky suspicion that I left the tag on those cleats. And sure enough, I opened the box up because I don't know, I had a weird feeling about it. And I did. I left the $40 tag on those shoes. I was like, oh my goodness. I'm so glad I don't know why I got this sixth sense about it that I left it, but I really glad I checked, because when you leave, especially on higher dollar stuff like that, when you leave the tags on, people don't like it at all. They get pretty upset when you leave that. You'll either get a negative feedback or a nasty message, one of the two. So glad we caught that before it happened. But it now makes me wonder how many things I've sent out with the tags. I haven't gotten any messages about it, but I'm sure I have. This is one of the pairs of Converse that we picked up on the online sale. Had these listed for a day, and we've already sold a pair, so I'm happy that I picked up as many. I think I ended up picking up 30 pairs or something of these in different sizes, and when I got them all in, it's so bad. When you do retail arbitrage and you buy something, it's so easy to throw a ton in your cart and pay for them without realizing how many that actually is, and especially with shoes. When you get 30 pairs of shoes, that takes up a ton of space. And when I got them in, they were stacked all over my kitchen. I was really hoping they would start selling, but they did. They did sell really quick. This is like a fake leather type material, really cool actually looking shoe. If you like Converse, these are size 7, so a small size that sold first. We actually have size 7 through I think 12 in these, so hopefully some of these start moving. Sold those for $74.99, and we paid, I don't have the tags on these. I think we paid $25 for these. 27. So we did pay a little bit more once with tax. It was like 25 plus tax. So still $27 into 75 is a good deal. So can't complain about that. We will take it. Let's see here. Get this boxed up and shipped out. I don't have my boxes made today, guys, so my shipping's taking a little longer, but thank you for joining and hanging out with us. Guys, I need some ideas for topics for some of our next few live streams. If you guys have any ideas, let me know, because I'm running out of ideas. I actually come up with this one spur of the moment that I had kind of forgotten about and hadn't written down. But if you have any ideas on what you'd like to talk about, even if it's something I may not know about, let me know. I would love to get some ideas that you guys want to hear about. We do have the bulk deal video coming up soon. That I don't know if I want to do it in one of these settings or an actual kind of podcast style setting where I'm sitting down so I can pay attention. Kind of feel like I should have taken this topic to that stage too, just because it's so hard to keep track of where you're going while you're doing all this. But we do have that coming up, so we might do more of a podcast style so I can keep track of what I'm doing for some of these topics. But if you have any other ones, I know I've got like the bulk, how to kind of maintain those connections with bulk sellers and stuff like that, or get into some bulk deals, as well as what are some of the other ideas? I've got them listed. I can't think of what they are though right off the top of my head. What other ideas do we have on the list? We've got oh yeah, maybe the next one we'll do is the impatient resellers or offering returns, stuff like that. We might talk about that next week. But unless you guys have something else you got on your mind that you would like to hear about, maybe it's about sourcing, maybe it's about listings, maybe it's about I don't know. I need some ideas, so let me know, please. I would greatly appreciate it. Let's see here. The next item up, we've got something that I picked up from a bin store. These are Caldwell Emax Pro Bluetooth earmuffs. These are for like shooting and stuff like that, but you can actually connect it to your phone and like listen to music and stuff too. But they're like noise canceling, all that stuff. Great deal. If you ever find these out in the wild, they're worth a lot of money. Unfortunately, this one didn't work. That was kind of, we talked about that with the bin stores. You got to take some time to test and so on. This is one of those things. We bought these. I thought they worked. I actually put batteries in them. They turned on and everything. Got ready to list them and decided to just do a little bit more checking into it because the box was kind of beat up. Sure enough, they don't work. One side does, the other side does not. So we listed these 4 parts and they did sell for $20. We paid $9, so we're just basically getting our money back from that one. Green, hey, just noticed you hit 202 subscribers. Congratulations. Thank you. I actually forgot about that. We did hit 200 subscribers during the Thursday video, so thank you guys for all your support. Want to keep growing it. We're going to do something at 250 subscribers. That's kind of a thank you guys. Thank you to all of you guys that watch. I haven't decided what that's going to be yet, but if you have some ideas for that, feel free to let me know. But yeah, we did hit that, so that was really awesome. Appreciate all your guys' support. Seems like it's been growing pretty rapidly, and I thank you all for that. But we do want to do something. I don't want to just leave you guys hanging, but we do want to do something, but we'll probably wait till we hit that 250 subscriber mark and then see what we can get into. All right, let's throw this in some bubble real quick and throw it in the box. Going out to Frank. Maybe. There we go. Perfect. All right. So I ended up with a bunch of these bubbles from that Kohl's. Those orders, they ship out with these giant ones. They're really nice, actually, because they take up a lot of space. So it makes shipping these real easy. I can just throw them in a box. But yeah, pretty good. Who did I say this is going to? Frank. Mr. Frank. But yeah, 200 subscribers. I want to do the video, guys. I keep talking about it, but I am going to get it finished. The Burlington sourcing video. My Kohl's videos have been doing really good. It almost hit 1,000 views, so that's really neat. But it's been a minute since I uploaded an actual edited video for you guys, and I do want to do that. I just have to put those on the back burner with how busy I'm staying with everything else. And I kind of talked about that in one of the first streams that, you know, I want to do as much as I can for content, but at the end of the day, I have to make sure I make my ends meet and make sure that stuff works out. So that's kind of where we're at with the videos, is they take a lot of time for me because I'm very picky about my editing. And so I spend a lot of time on it. And it just takes a bunch of my time. So I'm hoping to get some free time this week after getting a good amount of listings done. And we'll hopefully have that video up here soon. But it is pretty cool. It goes and just kind of shows what we sourced for Burlington during that cleat sourcing trip. And we have sold some of those already, so glad we did it. But we want to do more sourcing videos because I feel like I would love to do a live sourcing stream. That would be really cool in my opinion, but I have not figured out how to make it work, especially since a lot of the places that I source, the cell service is terrible. So even trying to just use a phone, even if I had two phones or whatever, is not going to work out very easily. Not going to work out very good. So we'll deal with it as we can figure it out. But I do want to do some sourcing videos and then use these as kind of the what solds and the topic discussions during our lives here. These, I didn't show those very well. Those are the same chubbies that we sold earlier, just in size extra large. Same thing, sold them for 40 bucks, paid 10. If you guys ever find chubbies on clearance, I know Kohl's carries them, a bunch of they're a pretty big name actually. I didn't realize they were a big name until I started buying them, but pretty popular, so definitely keep an eye out for them. You can do, like I said, if you can get them for like 10 bucks, 15 bucks, they almost sell consistent $40 for their shorts at least. So a good bolo there. Next up, we have a Ohio State women's hat. This is a small hat, but it's considered a women's. It's got like the netting in the back. I don't know what you call it. Really cool hat, actually. It's the, what are they calling these? Sport fabric or something like that. I don't know. They're really neat hats. Anyways, picked those up from my supplier, like I said, for 3 bucks. And we did sell that one for 20. Going out to Tony. Going out to Mr. Tony. What have we been up to besides the usual? I'm trying to think. I don't feel like I've got a whole lot going on, really. I don't know how sometimes I go through a week and I feel like I'm so busy and then look back and I can't figure out what I did. You guys ever have that happen? I don't know what it is. I sit here and think, oh wow, last week was busy, but I couldn't tell you hardly what I did besides get a few, some listings up and so on. It's crazy how long things take, like even getting the inventory in from Kohl's, you get it shipped to your door, you think it's not that big of a deal, but you have to get it in, get it separated, organized, listed, put into storage and all that, and it takes a whole day to do, what we ordered from Kohl's. So it's crazy to me how some things that you think will take a long time don't, and then others take forever. I did figure out how to bulk edit my photos. So this is something, I guess, a question for you guys. Do you guys edit your photos? I asked Crystal this the other day. I actually do on my hats. I take all my own photos for my hats. I've got a setup for it now, and I can do it really quickly. I do it to differentiate my listings from others, and I feel like it gives just a solid look. Plus, looking up stock images for hats is next to near impossible. There's so many styles out there, so it's really hard to find. So I do take all my own photos for those, and I remove the backgrounds, and I will edit them just a little bit, not obviously to cover up anything, but I edit them to try to get them to look as close to real as they are. For instance, a black hat, if you take a black hat in a photo room or a photo box or whatever, black and white are super hard to get to look right. They just look gray or whatever. So I do some editing in that to try to get them fixed. And I just figured out how to do bulk editing through my software that I use, which is really nice and is going to save me a bunch of time. I can actually go through and have them automatically center all my photos for that batch or whatever that I'm working on. So that was I was super excited to find that out. These are some high platforms. I believe these are women's right? Yeah, women's 9s. These are actually a really cool shoe too. I don't care for the high platform, but the color gray, it's like again, I'm pretty sure they're fake leather. And then they've got an actual fuzz lined on the inside. Really neat looking shoe if they weren't the high top. I don't know. I'm not a big, or not high top, but the high sole platform. That's what I'm looking for, platforms. But we paid $20 for those, and they did sell for $69.99. Glad to see the Converse going. The Nike sold fast, and the Converse normally sell really fast for me, and they haven't been. But I feel like they're going to start taking off with the summertime. Everybody's going to start wearing, getting ready for their vacations and stuff, and they buy their clothing and shoes and all that. I know I do. Every time I get ready to go on vacation, I always go out and buy new clothes for some reason. And most generally, I'll buy a new pair of shoes or something. Got to look good for on vacation. Doesn't make any sense, but you know, it's how us humans work. But we did sell those. Like I said, we sold 3 or 4 pairs of Converse this weekend, so happy to see those move. I always get nervous when I buy bulk deals, or not bulk deals, but when I buy high quantities or something. I always get nervous until they start selling, and then I regret not buying more. And we're going to talk about that in one of my sales here in just a minute. I wish so bad I would have bought more, but live and learn, you know, for next time. This is going to Deidre. And we'll get that shipped out. All right. Next up, we sold this hat. This is something that I picked up from a Marshall's yellow tag event, and I don't think I left a tag on it. Let's see. I paid $6 for it. This is a New Balance running hat. Kind of a cool looking, well, I shouldn't say cool. I wouldn't wear it, but it's a running hat. It's mesh open, so it's supposed to keep you cool, I guess. It's got like a little side pocket here. I guess you could put an ID or money or something. I don't know. But we picked it up. It took forever to sell, but it did sell for $29.99, and we only paid $6 for it, so not bad. This is not a structured hat, so we're still gonna ship it in a box. Just gonna throw it in this flat one here. But it did sell. It just took a minute to sell. Like I said, I think I picked that up 6 months ago, 8 months ago. So still has the tags on it and stuff, which is cool. And like I said, this is something that's just a random one. I don't really know why I bought it, because I don't think I comped it. Or if I did, there weren't very many comps at all. I was kind of guessing on the price. So $30, so isn't bad for that. And that's going out to Daniel. It's getting warm, guys. I forgot to turn my AC on. And we're at that temperature where I'm into like the 40s and, you know, low 50s, upper 40s. And then during the day, it's getting up to like 85. And, oh, it kills me. It's killing me a lot right now because my heat thing, it doesn't do heat and cool. So you have to switch between the two. You have to manually flip it. And so it's really annoying because I'll set the heat for night so it doesn't get, you know, below like 65 in the house, and then during the day I'll forget to switch it back over, and then it's stupid warm inside. And yeah, can't win. Have to remember to switch it every day. Thank you for joining in, guys. Good evening, Arnold. Appreciate you joining in as always. You guys are so awesome for sticking around and watching. I think you guys are in here almost every day. A lot of you guys that watch this, so I appreciate it so much. Sure beats talking to nobody for sure. This next item that we sold is this $59.50 Marlins hat. This is like a 90s throwback mesh all the way around. Kind of interesting looking hat. $13 into $60 for that one. Nice little sales. And one of those hats that I did not think was going to sell very well, and sure enough, it's one of the ones that is selling great. I sell several of them a week. Never know. I don't know my styles very well, I guess. I'm not up to styles. I don't know. Going out to Robert here. Thank you guys for joining. I just got a whole bunch of people joining to watch. I appreciate it. If you didn't catch the earlier portion, we did talk about some of the pros and cons of full-time reselling. If it's right for you, and I'll just give you a hint, that's gonna vary a lot on you. It's not for everybody, but it is definitely a great option if you enjoy what you do in the business. All right, let's switch over here to these other orders. Next up, we've got some vapor baseball pants that we sold. Again, these are leftovers from last year that I picked up. I got about $10 to $15 in each of these, and these ones sold for $50. Retail is $40, so we are going to pull that portion of the tag off. But these are size extra large. It is baseball season, coming into baseball season, so hopefully we can sell out of the rest of them that we have. We were picking these up originally super cheap at Burlington. Oops, this is the wrong bag. At like Burlington and stuff, super cheap. And even after those dried up, I was picking them up from some other people for just a few bucks more than what we were paying at Burlington, because I found the listing. So been doing really well on these, but I don't want to say I'm running out because I still have 4 totes of them, but we are starting to run lower in certain brand or certain sizes and colors. But these are going out to James. There we go. All right. Man, we got 10 viewers in here. Awesome. Thank you, guys. Appreciate y'all joining in to check out our video today. We are just kind of not wrapping up, but we have kind of talked about our main topic of reselling full-time, if it's for you, if it's not. So if you haven't catch it, you'll have to catch that one up on the replay. This will be up live after this one finishes up. You can watch that on the replay of the live. But thank you guys for joining in. Appreciate it. If you're new here, feel free to leave us a comment. Let us know if you got some topics or whatever you'd want to talk about in the future. But right now we're just going to finish up shipping out a few of these orders, showing you guys where we got them and what we've got going on in the reselling business so far. This next item we actually picked up from the Kohl's clearance event a couple of weeks ago, or not weeks ago. This has actually been, let's see, this would have been 6 weeks ago, 8 weeks ago, something like that. It's been a while. But we picked these up. These came out to $2.25 for these Nike running shorts. Women's. I don't normally pay a whole lot of attention to the women's stuff, but happened to go through them and come across some really good deals. And like I said, for $2.50, we're going to buy them every single time. So we picked these up for $2.50, and we are selling them for just $20. Unfortunately, that's all they were listed for, or all they were going for. And I listed them over on Amazon, and I think everybody else sold out, and mine sold out. Like literally, I've sold both of them within like a couple minutes of each other. So I should have had them priced higher, but we'll still take it. We'll still take the $2 and the $20 for sure. Retail on them is $30, so we might have been able to get a little bit more. But that's what happens with Amazon. You can not sell something on Amazon for months, and then as soon as your price hits the buy box, then they fly, and you'll sell out of everything. We had that happen with the Theraguns. If you watched our Thursday live, you seen we shipped out a few of those massage guns. We actually sold completely out of those on Friday. Friday alone, I take that back. We had one left, and it sold Saturday, and we're gonna ship that one out here in just a minute. But those massage guns are what took us to that $4,500 this month. We sold $3,000 worth of those just this week alone. That's the one thing. I should have bought more of them. I don't know why I didn't. I kind of hesitated spending that much money. Obviously, we paid $100 and something for them, so paid like $1,500, almost $2,000 on those, and I should have bought as many more as I could. But live and learn. I was a little hesitant, and now hindsight is always 50-50 or 2020. What's that saying? Is it hindsight's 2020? Yeah, that's what it is. All right, these are going out to Catherine over on Amazon. All right, Arnold started reselling some stuff around the house, but geez, some people with their lowball offers and all the hassle with the cheaper items. You're telling me, man. So I don't understand. This is a topic that we're going to discuss when we talk about resellers. People have, I feel like they ruined eBay with the offers thing. People feel like they can make offers on everything. It's one thing if you put best offer up, you expect, low balls. But I see so many people, and I've ranted on this in the last video. I'm not going to rant on it a whole bunch today, but so many people will list something for way high, take an offer for $20, have it listed for 100, take an offer for $20, and it just kills it. It really is. And I'm with you, man. I'm getting constant messages let's work a deal, let's do this, let's do that, and I have a generic response that I copy and paste over, and I don't mess with it anymore. I'm just tired of it. I'm so tired of the lowball offers. It's like, it's one thing if you have best offer on there, but if you don't, it's just not worth, don't send me an offer unless you're willing to buy a bunch of them or something. But yeah, I feel you, man. But hey, reselling around the house, as much as I don't like reselling used stuff, you can make some good money off stuff that you're planning on throwing out. I have a hard time throwing anything in the trash anymore. I think is that a hoarder quality? I don't know. It could be, but I have a really hard time throwing anything away because I know I can get a little bit out of it online, and what's a few extra dollars? You can't pass up on a few extra dollars every now and then. Next up, we sold these. We actually sold some of these on the Thursday stream as well, but we sold the last two. These are the Zip System flashing tapes. We sold these on Amazon. This was a bin store purchase on my last trip down to visit my family. Decided to hit the bin store for the fun of it. Picked these up for $20 a piece. Did pay $20 each for these at the bin store, but they were comping really well, and I decided to take a chance on it. We bought 8 or 6 of them, and we sold all 6. These are the last two going out. We paid $22 and sold them for $80 a piece. So 40 into 170 on this one. So really good flip. But again, one of those ones that until you sell it, if you're not used to selling this type of item, it's a little daunting at first. I'm not sure how we're going to package these. I guess we might be able to put it in one of these. Let's see. Yeah, that should work. We'll see if it'll fit in here. Profit is profit, but it makes me want to stick to my comfortable niche. Yeah, I feel you, man. Like I said, I'm the same way. I have to get in the mood, and I have to go through and just list them, and do it. I get this box right. But I have to just I do it all at one time just to get it over with. It is profit, but I'm the same way, and I'm gotten a lot better with that. Not that I don't want to branch out in what I sell, but I actually have gotten better at not feeling like I have to buy everything, so to speak. Feeling like I can actually leave stuff, even though it may be profitable, I can still leave it and not have to worry about it. Not have to worry about leaving that profit if it's not something that I just necessarily want to sell. So it is one of those things. We're going to cut this box down, guys, because I don't want to put packing in here. I think it's going to make it a mess. Let's see, Crystal. I actually love having offers on, but that might be different for used category. I get a huge majority of my sales from offers. It is, and I think that's where those of us that sell new don't think about. Obviously with used stuff or something that there's no market on, I completely agree. Like obviously, if there's nothing for sale like it on eBay, then it's smart to, list it high and put offers and then take whatever you want. And for used category, by far, I feel like offers are almost necessary because again, it depends on the exact condition and stuff like that. But for new, it just drives us nuts because there's a market. Like Millennial Prophet Adam talks about all the time. There's a market to this stuff. Man, that did not work. And that works really well. There's a market to this stuff with new, whereas used, you don't have that market necessarily to kind of base your sales off of. So we're cutting this one down just because I don't want it to be, what's it called? I feel like it's going to bang the box up pretty bad if we don't. I don't want people complaining. This is an Amazon sale. I can't remember if I sent this in the listing or not. All right, so we got that. I don't like doing this on Amazon sales because a lot of people then feel like they aren't buying it from a company, which is what they expect on Amazon. But I don't have a box for these, and it's just one thing, so we'll deal with it. Let's see. Oops, that didn't quite work. All right. All right, there we go. So that is going out to, I don't even know how to pronounce that name either. So we're just going to write it. But yeah, as far as best offers go, yeah, if you're selling used, I don't have a problem with that. And a lot of the resellers that I see accept offers like crazy are selling used. But I feel like the buyers get into the habit of that being expected, so to speak. And so they feel like they can just lowball everything. And it's just annoying. But when selling used, I do agree. It is probably great to use offers. And a lot of people send out offers, which also helps out there too, for selling different things. We've got these boxers here, Under Armour. We talked about these a whole bunch. Paid $13 for them, or $12, sorry, and sold them for $34. These slowed down. I think I lost the buy box. Somebody else came in with them cheaper, so we'll deal with that. But yeah, those are going out to Judy. Except for I've never seen Judy spelled that way. That is interesting. Let's see. Next up, we have that Thorogun. So this is what I was talking about, guys. If you missed the Thursday stream, we sold. This is what made our weekend great. These are what we picked up from the last Kohl's event. We actually called these out in Bread and Butter. I did. Now I wish I wouldn't have. I wish I would have just bought them all. But we did sell all of these. Like I said, this is what made our $3,000 or something this weekend, or this past week. Yeah, $2,800 is what we sold worth of the Thoroguns. These are just a what's it called? Can't even think. Massage gun. We picked these up for $115 and selling them for $280 over on Amazon. So $280. That was a huge flip, making a little over $100 a piece. Yeah, should have bought a lot more of them, but live and learn. Happy with what we got, but we could have made a lot more off of that. Crazy deals. You don't come into those often, but when you do, they sure do make it nice. And with something that's that high of a sell-through rate, that's electronics for you, though. Anything electronic, even though this isn't like a video game or anything, they sell great. It's something that's super hot, super popular right now, and makes for a quick, easy flip, and you can make your money back and make your profit really fast. So hopefully we can start finding a few more of these, because that's what helps you be able to grow even quicker and get kind of caught back up on things, as a quick flip. But if they were easy to find, that's what everybody would be doing, as we say in the group. It's great for when you do find them, but you can't expect to find these every day, because, like I said, that's what everybody wants. That's how you grow quickly. All right. We're almost done here, guys. If you have any other questions or comments, I feel like I kind of left off there on the whole full-time reselling or not. But if you have anything like that, also if you're rewatching this and you have made it through this far, especially if you are rewatching this and you made it through the whole thing, thank you so much. Appreciate it. Your guys' support is awesome. We did hit 200 subscribers, like we mentioned earlier, so thank you guys for that as well. We just want to keep growing the channel and being able to share more with y'all as we keep going along on this journey. And it's been a fun one, guys. I have enjoyed doing these. I look forward to them on Mondays a lot. So I appreciate everybody's support in those and keeping us busy and keeping us entertained. It's not easy to do when there's not very many viewers, so I appreciate all you guys viewing and talking to us. I know it's not easy, obviously, to come up with different things to say and ask and talk about, but I do appreciate your guys' engagement for it. This next item up is an Adidas tie-dye hat that we did pick up from a supplier. Got these for $2.50, or $2.70, I guess, after tax. Orange and pink bucket hats. It's summertime, guys. Bucket hats are back in style. Sold this one for $24.99. Retail is $34.99 on it, so they got a deal on it. We're gonna leave that tag on there. Thank you, Arnold. Appreciate it. I'm a bit behind, but we'll watch the rest most likely this week. I appreciate it, Arnold. You always do, and you always leave comments and stuff. But that's huge. Helps out in the algorithm too, guys. I know I ask for comments all the time. I do want to hear from you guys, your questions and concerns, and just in general. But it does help with the algorithm. Gets our videos out in front of more people, the more interactions we get. So that is super huge for the channel growing, and hopefully we can get this up to where we can do a lot more than just lives, but we'll see how it goes. So this is going out to Clarence. I don't know who wears bucket hats. Do you guys wear bucket hats? I don't. I don't think I've ever worn a bucket hat. I don't know. Not my thing. but they seem to be selling well, especially coming here into summertime. It's been going really well. Next up, we picked these up just recently on the last Kohl's clearance event again. I feel like that's all I sell these days, but they are pretty quick flip, the stuff we find in there. Nike brand. These are sports bras, and I don't necessarily pay attention, like I said, to the women's section a lot, but this trip I decided to, and that's where we came out with the $2.50 shorts. These were $10. They're only selling for $25 on Amazon, but again, I think I got the buy box and they sold instantly. Like these two sold within 30 minutes of each other. So they're definitely worth it, and they're a hot, again, Nike brand sells super fast, so you don't always have to go with the lowest price. I was not the lowest price on these listings, but it hit that price pretty rapidly, and I probably could have got a little bit more out of them if I had waited. But we'll take it. It's a nice quick flip. The retail on these is $40, so we definitely probably could have gotten a lot more. But we sold that, and it's something that I'll probably keep an eye out from going on from now on in the clearance events. The sports bras and shorts, running shorts and stuff, do decent. The sports bras seem to be doing a lot better. I've sold some other ones too that haven't been on video, just been during the week. Those have been selling really well also. So probably something I'll keep an eye out on, just when won't be a main sourcing thing for me, but just to keep an eye out on, especially during the clearance events. It's a quick, easy grab, and they seem to sell pretty fast. And this is going into summertime again as also, so that could be some of it. We are starting to lag. Hopefully the video catches up here in just a second. Sorry about that, guys. Let's see here. We've got, this one is going out to Xena. And then we also sold the next, same thing, same exact price, everything, same size too. Going out to Cassandra. Let's see if I can get these clearance tags off. Kohl's clearance tags used to be really easy to remove, and for some reason the last batch of them I got have been terrible. They just peel off in chunks. Makes it a little bit hard for sure. All right, there we go. Maybe. Is my video still lagging, guys? Sorry. I don't know if you guys are seeing that or not. Pete tells me I apologize too much for some of the issues that I run into my videos. I just hate for you guys to have to deal with that. I should have a good setup, and for some reason I still run into trouble with it every now and then. I don't know if it's my internet. I have decent internet, so I don't know if it's the internet or if it's just my software. I don't know, but hopefully it picks up here quickly. One thing that was brought to my attention, I do refer to my reselling business and me as us a lot. If you haven't caught on to that, that is a habit from my retail days. We always referred to anything we were doing as the company, as us. So, you know, us here at the store, you know, we want to make sure you're taken care of, whatever. Like, it's kind of a habit with that. So I've kind of pulled that over into my reselling business, and I've noticed it a lot in those videos, and someone even commented on it, that I refer to everything as us. I am the only one that works for my company. My wife helps out every now and then. But I just have gotten to that habit as we and us. I also do it in my messages. I feel like it gives a little bit better perception. Maybe that's lying. Is that lying? I don't know. In my thing, you know, I always put in my response, you know, we will be happy to help you out in any way we can, all that stuff. I don't know. I don't know why I do it, but I do. Hopefully nobody thinks that's lying in any way, but it just makes it a little bit easier. It's just a habit I've built into. So if you ever hear me refer to us, it's probably just me. Same here. I always reply as we. Yeah, I don't know why. I've always done it. Like I said, I do know I did it during retail. When I worked for retail, that was always the case. But I don't know why it's something I've carried on like that. Next up, we've sold these Nike slides. We sold a bunch of these size 12s. Going out, paid $10 or less than $10. I don't remember exactly what we paid for them, but less than $10, and selling them for $29. And they are selling quick. I think I've only got 2 pair of these left in this size and color. Hopefully the other colors sell this summer, because I really don't want to move them. They're a great buy. Obviously 10 into 30 is great, but it's not something that they take up a lot of space, actually, and I've had to keep them for over a year, so not something I'll probably pick up too much for in the future, unless I just get a crazy and good deal on a good amount of them. But these were from a Kohl's clearance event online as well. Guys, my internet is really acting up. I see it lagging on the video. I do apologize. We are actually pretty much finished up here. So we're just going to call it. But hopefully I can figure out why that's happening and we can avoid that in the future, because that is going to be really annoying as it is. But I think that is it, guys. These are going out to Dorothy. That is going to wrap it up today for this stream. Thank you guys so much for watching. Thank you all for all your support. Again, thank you for 200 subscribers. If you wouldn't mind hitting that like button for me before you click out of the video, I would appreciate it. That helps us out a lot. And then leave us a comment on anything that you have. That always helps us out too. But other than that, I think that is going to be it. If you guys have any questions, feel free to let me know. All the links are down in the description for all the stuff that we mentioned. If you're interested in bread and butter, like I said, that's just a Discord group that we share leads in, help each other out. If you guys have questions, how to build your business, all of that. It's a great resource. It is $39 a month. So if you have questions on it before you sign up, please let me know, either here or on Instagram. Same tag, Delco Resells on Instagram. Either way, send me a private message. I'll be happy to explain anything on that if you are interested in joining. Like I said, pays for itself multiple times over every single month for me. And I think it does for most people that are willing to take advantage of it. So well worth it. But I do want to make sure it's for you before you sign up. I don't want you to feel like you wasted your money. There is a link in the description for that. All the links in the description help us out on the channel. We get a small commission from any sales that we get through there. So if there's ever anything you need and the items are down below and you want to help us out, that's greatly appreciated. We will be live again next Monday unless something else comes up with another topic. And hopefully you guys enjoy that. I don't think there's anything else I need to mention. Like I said, 250 subscribers. If we can hit that here soon, we're going to do some sort of, I don't know if it'll be a giveaway or whatever for you guys. I want to give back to you all for all your support and all your time you guys have invested into us here at Delco Resells YouTube channel. So thank you guys so much. We're going to head out of here. We'll catch you in the next one.